Hello everyone, photographer Andredesignz here with a new retouch video, and today we'll be retouching 3 images. I'm going to be retouching 3 images from a wedding that I've done recently. So I'm going to show you guys how I actually edit wedding photos in Photoshop when I'm editing wedding photos. Well, most of the editing is done in Lightroom, but which is easier. So I'm going to show you guys how I edit and color grade in Photoshop as well. So on my screen here you see 1 image, 2 image, 3 image. Good. So we have 3 images here that we'll be retouching. I'm starting with this one. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is to crop the image. So I'm going to come over here to the crop tool, and I'm going to ensure that I'm cropping 4:5 ratio, which is the 8:10 size. And then I'm just going to, use my... I'm just going to move it down a little bit to about right there. Alright, let me bring these sides in a little bit. And then I'm going to press enter. Good. So that is what I want the image to look like. So I'm going to remove this vine right here because I don't think I like it. So I'm going to go to the patch tool, and then I'm going to use the pen. Just going to remove this right here. I'm going to use content aware, so I'm going to hold on Alt and then backspace. Actually, no. It's going to be Control backspace. Wait, Shift backspace. Yeah, Shift backspace for the content aware. And then the next step now is to work on the skin. So I'm going to zoom up a little bit. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to go to the frequency separation action. The frequency separation action is going to be on my website for you to download. If you check the link in the description, you will see the link there for you to go to the website and download the action, and you'll be able to watch a video on how you were able to install the action. Alright, so when you're doing frequency separation, you have to ensure that you click frequency separation. Most of you guys are having problems with the mixer brush for some reason. I don't know why. It's not working for you, but I'm going to show you step by step what you do. Once you click the frequency separation action, the radius, I'm going to leave it at 6.4. Okay. Then I'm going to go down to the low frequency layer and then come over here to the mixer brush. The mixer brush is normally nested under brushes. So once you hold on brushes, you can see the mixer brush there. I took mine out. Alright, when you're on the mixer brush and you're on the low layer, ensure that this is cleared. Look at these two buttons right here. Ensure that this one is selected and this one is not selected. Alright, good. When this one is not selected, this one right here is not selected, it will clear the brush automatically. Ensure that this one is selected. For the wet, 2%. For the load, 75. Everything else remains the same. The only thing I would change is the 2% here for the wet. Alright, so right here where it says sample all layers, ensure that that is not selected. Guys, you have to pay attention to the settings, right? Because most of you are having issues because the settings are not correct. Alright, then still on the low frequency layer, I am going to use the bracket on the keyboard to adjust the size of the brush, and all I'm going to do is just to brush the arm of the bride. So what I'm doing right now is just to brush. She has blemishes on her skin, so we're going to remove that. If you use the mixer brush, what it does is flatten the blemishes, so it's easier for you to remove. Alright, so that's all I need to do. I don't need to do anything on her face. That looks okay. So what I'm going to zoom up on the model's arm. I'm going to go to the high frequency layer and then press J on the keyboard for the patch tool. You can use whatever tool you wish to use to remove blemishes. Some of these are actually watts. No, not watts. Moles, so you don't want to remove everything. Just remove the ones that looks like, well, I'm going to remove that. looks like a blemish. Alright, we want the images to look natural as possible, and not all the time you're able to go through 200 photos and clean up the skin in all of them. So yeah. Alright, so that's it for now. I'm not going to do anything else. Maybe right here and right here. Good. So now I'm finished with removing the blemishes from the skin. If you see any wrinkle on the dress of the bride, you remove that as well, because you really don't want to be providing images to a client and it has wrinkles and stuff like that. That is why you have to ensure that you charge a certain amount of money, so when you're editing, you will not feel like you're doing extra and you're not getting paid for it. So you ensure that you charge the right amount that will cover you spending time editing the images. Alright, so I'm on the high frequency layer, and I just remove a part of the, I just removed the wrinkle, but it's not gone entirely. I'm still on the same selection, so I'm gonna go wait, was I on the high before? Okay, no, so I'm still on high. Good. So what I'm going to the low one, the low layer, and I'm just gonna remove that again. It over like that. Good. So I remove it on both high and low layers, like that. Let's look at it before and after. Before and after. You don't have to be 100% detailed when it comes to wedding photos, unless you're doing it for, unless it's an edit for a photo book. You want to go really detailed, because trust me, it's going to be a lot of photos that you'll be working on. Alright, that looks good. Alright, perfect. And ensure that your couple, like for example the groom, does not have anything in his pocket, because it's going to have like a bulge, and yeah. Alright, so that's that. So the next step now is to do, I don't always do dodge and burning on wedding couples. I don't always do it because it's a little bit extreme to be doing a lot. Just for this video, I'm going to do dodge. So I'm going to press B for the brush, ensure that my flow is at 1% and my opacity is at 100%, and then I'm just going to highlight some part of the skin like that. That's it. I'm going to go to burn and just shape it a little bit. That is it. Nothing else I need to do. So I'm not going to work on the model's face or anything like that, because I mean, I want it to look as natural as possible. So what I'm going to do now is to create a new layer. Control Shift Alt E to create a new layer. Not sure what just happened. Okay, good. And then I'm going to go to Camera Raw. You can create a second layer, Control J. Then I'm going to go to Camera Raw up here, and I'm going to color the image now. So first thing I'm going to do, as usual, is to click Auto. I don't think I like what Auto is doing, but I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to bring up the shadows, and what I could do as well is to bring up the exposure just a little bit. For the background highlights, I'm just going to bring down the highlights a little bit, like right there, and then I'm going to drop a little dehaze in there. Good. So let's look at the before and after for that. So that's the before over here, and that's the after. I'm just going to leave the before and after page up so you guys can see. I'm going to come here to the HSL option, and most of these options here are actually in Lightroom. So I do one image, and then I apply the same color grade to every other images inside of Lightroom. So normally what I would do is to clean the skin in Photoshop, and then in Lightroom I do the coloring, because it's easier to do the coloring in Lightroom when you're working with a lot of photos. Alright, so that's that. So what I'm going to do now is to, under hue, I'm going to play with the colors in the background. Maybe that green in the tree, and then the yellow like that. To adjust their skin a little bit, I could use this, the orange. I don't think I need to do anything to their skin. Alright, so I'm going to come over here to the split tone, and I'm just going to turn the saturation up a little bit, like right there. Good. So before and after. Good. So I'm gonna press OK because I'm actually done with this image. I'm not going to apply, if you've watched my videos, you know I always apply the blue. Let me apply it now and see what it looks like. Okay, it looks good, but I'm not going to apply the blue because I don't normally do that when I'm editing the photos in Lightroom. I don't add the blue to it, so in the shadows. Alright, so I'm basically done, so I'm going to save this for Instagram. I have a shortcut here, but I'm just going to show you guys how to save it to Instagram. So because it's already 8 by 10, which is a 4:5 ratio, I always ensure that when I'm taking the photos, I like dress back a little bit so I can actually crop the images. So if they want to print it as an 8 by 10 image, they can print it as an 8 by 10 image, and also I can upload it to Instagram, and yeah, it fits perfectly. So what I'm going to do now is to save it for Instagram. So I'm going to come here to File, Export, Save for Web, and then ensure that you have JPEG right here. And then what you're going to do now is to come down here and you're going to put 1080. Good. So now it's let me fit the screen. So now it's optimized for Instagram. So I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it on my desktop. No, well, yeah. You know what? Before I do that, let me add my logo to it. Add my logo to it. Oh, right here. I save my logo inside of Dropbox, so if I'm not around my computer, I can easily find it. Alright, so I'm gonna put my logo right here. So once I upload it to Instagram, my logo will be right there for the full size. Alright, so I'm gonna save it again for well, you know the drift, so I'm just gonna use my action and save it to Instagram. Alright, good. So it's now, well, save it to Dropbox. Alright, so I'm going on to the other image, and as you see, it's raw. I always shoot in raw, so I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to, well, I'm not going to create a duplicate. I'm just going to go straight to frequency separation, and then I'm going to go into the low frequency layer. I'm just going to zoom up, and then I'm going to press M on the keyboard for the mixer brush. That's the shortcut I use for the mixer brush. So when a client thinks that all we do is just take the photos and bring it home and then just give them the images, now they can see, if anyone is watching my video, any client is watching my video, now you can see what we have to go through to edit 1 million photos to give to you. It takes time, it takes hours. So when we say, hey, I'm charging $1,500 for a 7-hour wedding, you don't say, hey, that's too expensive and I can't manage that. Or if I say I'm charging $1,000 and you're saying it's too expensive, I would suggest that you go with somebody who can go lower, because I mean, we have to do a lot of editing at times to get the look that we want and the look that you have seen on our portfolio. So yeah, so the next step now, I'm actually going to crop this image as well. So I'm done with the cleaning up of the skin. I'm going to crop it. As you guys know, I love cropping my images. Let me bring this down a little bit like that, and like right there. Using the rule of thirds, I'm gonna have them like that. So that's the image. Good. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna color the image now. So I'm gonna create good. I'm gonna go to auto. Auto did a fine job. I'm just gonna bring up the shadows a little bit, and And trust me guys, remember, not all the time your images are going to be fully in focus, so don't be afraid to keep those images in, because if you look at the model's face, the groom's face is not in focus, but hers is. I was shooting at what? I just noticed I didn't tell you guys what the settings were for the image. Oh, so right here you can see it says 1.6 is it's the Row Canon lens I was actually using, the 1.4 lens. So I was shooting at 1.6 for some reason, I'm not sure why, because I normally shoot at 1.4, and my shutter speed was 1/320, and ISO was at 200, and yeah, 85mm lens, right? I'm not even sure why I'm at 200 though, but okay. All right, sometimes that happens, or maybe sometimes I don't. It happens. All right. So next step now, I'm gonna come over here to, well, I'm gonna go dehaze a little bit, like 6 for the dehaze. I'm gonna come over here to the HSL option, and then I'm gonna play with the colors again. Alright, I think I like the skin tone right there. I'm gonna play with the yellow, and then the green. I think I like the earth tone right here, and I think I like this leading line right here as well. Yeah, it's good. Then I'm gonna go to the split tone, and then I'm just gonna bring the saturation up a little bit, just like that. That looks good. I'm gonna press OK. Let's match this with the other image. Let's see if it looks the same. Arrange vertical up to, and then I'm gonna bring this over here. I'm gonna zoom this, well, I'm gonna zoom this one down. Alright, so this image here is more vibrant than this one, so we have to try to match them to look the same, which is why it's always good to do everything inside of Lightroom, because you'll be able to match everything easier there. So I'm gonna go back into, I'm gonna create a new layer. I'm gonna go back to Camera Raw again, and then I think the dehaze is what I need to put in some more to get the vibrant look. Yeah, and then I'm gonna bring out the shadows a little bit, and then highlights a little bit in, and that's it. So it's a little bit closer. What happened is that we had a lot of trees in the background, so the color might look a little bit different, but yeah, it's somewhat close to what it was. Sometimes when the lighting is different, it may look different, but yeah, that's about it. So I am actually done with this image. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drag the logo from this image here over to this one. So I'm gonna click on this, drag the logo over. Oh, what's happening? Oh my. Good. So I'm gonna move the logo down here, and as you guys know already, you know how to save it for Instagram. So I'm just going to click on Dropbox right here. That's a shortcut I have to save my images inside of Dropbox so I can upload it to Instagram. Alright, good. So I am done with that. Once I'm going on to the other image, let me change this back to yeah. So this is the last image that we're working on today, and I'm going to basically do the same thing. Let me just zoom up a little bit and see if I need to. Alright, for this image I don't think I need to do any what they call it, frequency separation. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create a duplicate, then I'm going to go to Camera Raw, and then I'm going to press Auto. I'm going to bring up the exposure to about right there, then the shadows, alright, then the dehaze, okay, and then I'm going to go to the HSL option, and I'm going to play with the skin tone a little bit, maybe about right there, and then I'm going to go to green, put the green like that, and then yellow like that. I'm going to go over to split tone, and I'm just going to bring the saturation up right here, like right there. Good. I'm going to go back over to the basic, and I'm still going to make some more adjustment. The image looks a little bit dark, the subject looks a little bit dark, so I'm going to bring up the shadows some more to about right there. Good. Then a little bit more dehaze, that should be good. Alright, so that's it for the coloring of the image. So that looks good. I think I want to zoom up and maybe make some adjustments down here. Let me just remove these blemishes as well. Good. So I am done. Basically, that's it for the images. So for different lighting situation, the colors might be a little bit different if you're going to be doing it inside of Lightroom. So I mean in Photoshop. So Lightroom is the best place to make your edits when you're working on a lot of images, a batch of images. So you have to think about that when you're editing wedding photos. I never do coloring inside of Photoshop when I'm actually doing editing wedding photos. I always do my color grading inside of Lightroom so everything can actually match. Alright, so I hope you guys learned something from this video, and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good one. You can also follow my wedding page by going to Weddings by Andredesignz. It's on the screen, so you guys can follow me on my wedding page if you want to see wedding photos as well. Alright.